Hi, my name is Rodney Hogen, and I'm the owner here at the Red Trail Vineyard in Buffalo, North Dakota. And we started this business in 2003, actually planting cold climate variety grapes here in North Dakota.
My name is Michael Hogen, and I'm the vineyard manager out here, and also Rodney's son.
Okay, we're here today at Red Trails Vineyard, and with Michael and Rod, and we're going to be talking about their vineyard and grapes that they have out here. So, tell me a little bit about how you got started and why.
Well, in 2003, in the little town of Buffalo, we had a gentleman there at our historical meeting, actually, and he was looking for people that had a fruit to sell. And this was in February of 2003, and there's a lot of fruit that grows out here in the country, like plums and choke cherries and apples and also rhubarb. And at that meeting, he asked me if I'd like to grow grapes. Well, back in 2003, he might as well have asked me to grow oranges because I didn't have a clue that grapes would grow here in North Dakota. And anyway, I did a little research on it, and I found there were some cold climate varieties out at that time that would grow and would make a decent wine. So that's sort of how we got started out here. We started small. The first year we planted only 120 vines, but then since then we've grown every year.
So how many vines do you have today?
Currently we have about 2,500 vines growing here. And it's about, about 15, 16 different varieties actually.
Okay.
When we planted our North Vineyard, we really didn't know what was going to work here in our soils and our climate here in North Dakota. So that's why we have so many varieties. In 2007, we planted our South Vineyard, where there's only 2 varieties, and they came from the University of Minnesota in their research.
And Michael, how did you get involved with the business?
I guess everyone in our family's been involved in the business, and mostly out here helping. And certainly when we planted all the vines, we were all out here helping. But I guess that's one part of it. The other part of it is the marketing end of it, which I handle a lot of that, especially the online stuff.
Okay.
Website and all that. So.
Okay, which leads us into sort of what we want to talk about today. What do you do to market Red Trails?
Well, we do a variety of things, and of course, when we first started it was mostly a lot of brochures. It was going to different events, especially with our wine, and joining different organizations, especially the Chamber in Fargo-Moorhead. And that's sort of how we got started, to get the word out. And of course, business cards was always one of our big things too, that everybody we'd see, we'd give them a business card. And it was kind of it started as word of mouth because vineyards in North Dakota were so new. And when the word got out there, there's a vineyard out of Buffalo. Have you been out there yet to see this? No, and people would start to come out here and see this. In 2003 is when we first planted, and you understand it takes 3 years to get a grape. So 2005 was our first actual grape harvest. And that first year we made 19 bottles is all we made. It was a small production. However, in the meantime, this building you're in is a 100-year-old granary. And we turned this into a tasting room, and we opened for business on Memorial Weekend of 2005. So we had to have wine here at that time, and we had some fruit wines made for us with the Red Trail label on them. And so that's how we started. People would come out, they see the vineyard, but you go to a vineyard, you've got to do wine tasting. And so that's how we started the people on the wine tasting part of it. And so the word kind of spread, and when the word spreads, well, pretty soon somebody on TV gets a hold of it. Well, they come out here, and it just kind of snowballs into that. And then later on, Mike is very good when it comes to doing websites. And so we got him more involved in getting a web page up and going from there.
How many bottles of wine do you produce yearly now, about on average?
you know, on average, the best year we had was in 2010. We did about 3,000 bottles. 2011 we got hailed out, so we lost about 60% of our production. It should keep growing. We've been doing some different things out here. We've been learning more of how to grow grapes and how to fertilize and how to take care of our vineyard better.
Okay. Well, your dad opened up the door here to online and online marketing and stuff. And first, tell me what tools you use when I say online marketing. What does that mean to you?
First one would be a really good website, and that's something that I kind of took over and did a lot of changes, and then adding the other tools in there like Facebook, Twitter. Those are the big ones that everyone always should have. And then we have a blog as part of our website, so Dad will do some write-ups, especially during the season, and then I'll put those up there too. We have people that follow that and subscribe to that, so that's a big part of it. Also our newsletter email list, we have that so people can sign up for that, and we'll throw out like coupons and special event notices, things like that too, so just keeps everyone aware.
Did you start one before the other, or what was the progression?
First thing was the website, getting that up, and that wasn't up right away. It took probably a year before that was up and ready, but that was the first thing. Everyone's got to have that.
Why do you say that?
Because online presence is huge. People don't go into the yellow pages like they used to, or look offline. Everyone's online, especially smartphones.
Okay. Now, so you do the Facebook, the Twitter, but you do the blogging?
I'll write a story for Mike and he'll put it on. I don't know how you do it. I can write, but Mike can put it on our blog.
And today you were telling me that you're going to shoot some video.
We're going to do that, yeah, and actually we're going to do it today. It's getting towards the end of the season for pruning out here, and I saved a few vines that I want Mike to film this and show people how we prune some of our vines.
Okay, and Mike, where are you going to post those?
Well, they'll go on our website and then YouTube channel, which is another online tool that everyone should have as well.
Okay.
Another piece of social media.
Do you have one currently?
So, not one specific for the
Okay.
Red Trail Vineyard, just kind of an over general one that I personally have. So.
Okay. So how long have you been using these tools, roughly?
Wow, probably 2004 is when the website went up.
Yeah.
So, since then.
And how would you say it has performed for you, the various tools?
I'll answer part of this. I know for a fact that the website is huge because a lot of the people that we get here are travelers throughout the United States, and that's what they go on. They go on, when you you type in wines or wineries in North Dakota, we pop up there. And the people traveling, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for these special places. And especially here in North Dakota, we get so many people through here that we're on their bucket list, or they're doing the 50-state wine, the wine thing, where they want wine from every state. And a lot of them say North Dakota is their last stop. And so this is one of their stops.
Okay. It's helpful, I'm sure, because you're just 2 miles off the interstate, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Mike, you've been doing, how about the Facebook, the Twitter? Any sense for how this might be driving traffic your way?
Facebook is good. The toughest thing I see is getting enough people to follow you on Facebook, to like you. And that's one thing that we got to take to the next level.
And how are you thinking about doing that?
What I would like to do is, there's always ads on Facebook. That's where they make all their revenue. And to run some ads on there and probably have a giveaway. So anyone that likes us, be part of a giveaway where we give away wine or, tickets for our Grape Harvest Festival.
Okay. How much time did it take to set up? Well, first I'm going to back up before how much time. Mike, you've done this. Are self-taught, or do you have a background in
I started in 2008 with my own little marketing company.
Okay.
So a lot of it's been self-taught, but
Okay. How long did it take to build the website that you have today?
the current website that we have was probably 3 to 4 days to get it all full.
How much
set up.
how much time do you spend online doing marketing for the company?
Probably during the season, probably a couple hours a day on average. Some days more, some days less, but updating website, doing things on Facebook, some tweets here and there.
What about,
SEO.
you said during the season, what about off-season marketing, either in general, Rod, or specifically online, Mike? Either one of you.
Off season, online wise, this I don't know. It's maybe 3 to 4 hours a week. Just trying to keep people updated, and any news that we have, that'll throw up some blogs, postings. Also, we do some tastings. We do a lot of tastings at Packers Package in West Fargo, where they carry our wine. So I like doing those because you get to meet the people, and then once letting people know we hand out the brochures, they can come out here when we're open.
Okay.
So.
Rod, how about in general marketing, off-season?
Well, we still go to these events. Wintertime I'm a farmer. And so wintertime is the time when you go to meetings, and the grape business is the same way. That's when the North Dakota grape growers have their meetings, the Minnesota grape growers have meetings, they have a cold climate conference that we attend. And so it's a lot of homework to do, classwork to do, learning the business and meeting new people. And so that's one thing that happens in the winter. Wintertime, normally we're closed out here. We just do other things, I guess.
Okay. What are your normal opening dates and closing dates?
Normally for us, we're open by appointment, or we're open generally Memorial Weekend through September. And this year we're expanding. We're going to be open on Fridays too. Okay. Normally it's just been the weekends, but this year we're going to go to Friday also.
Okay. If you could give some tips in marketing in general, Rod, or on online marketing, what would you suggest for this person who's thinking about starting a business or has a business and it's just not going, and they know they need to do something?
Well, my thought is you really got to be a people person. And you got to shake a lot of hands, you got to have a lot of business cards. And people like to hear stories too. If you can, you tell them the story of what you're doing, especially if you have something sort of interesting like a vineyard in North Dakota. What can be more exciting than you got to really be a people person.
And Mike, online, what tips might you offer?
Online tips, always check your online presence, because the thing about online marketing is that you do something wrong, so many people can know about it, like that. So, but on the reverse side of that, you do something really good, a lot of people know as well. So it's getting that word out there, like Dad said, online, and spreading the word.
When you say check your online presence, what are some tools and tips you use?
Things like Yelp, which is more so good for restaurants, but there's review sites like Yelp, and people in the restaurant business don't even check them, and they should, because they get some bad press on there. Other review sites like that, or just even people on their own Facebooks, giving you bad press. You can always find stuff like that. But
have you claimed your Google site and all those? I assume you probably have already got that all done. Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you find that difficult, or any tips you would give? You'd be surprised at how many people don't want to take that step.
Well, that's one thing too, when you're naming your business, is you should always check, obviously, your domain name, but also Facebook, so you make sure you can get that name as well, and Twitter handle, and all those types of things. Yeah.
Which leads me to a story. We're going to go off the track to, how did Red Trails Vineyard get named?
Red Trail Vineyard got named sort of because of my grandpa, in a way, because many, many years ago, my grandfather was up here in the corner of our farmstead looking for a post out in the trees. And I went out there and he said, I'm looking for the post of the Red Trail Vineyard. And I didn't pay too much attention to it at that time. But when it come many, many years later, when it came time to name this place, I thought, well, that's kind of a unique name. It adds history, it adds a story to what we're doing. And the Red Trail was one of the first trails across the state of North Dakota. And people are, they're interested in that. They're interested in history.
And that's why I had to come back. I remember you telling me at the recent conference, and I had to catch that up. Do you include that on your website? Is that history built into your website?
That's right on the front page.
Okay.
Little blurb, yep.
I know it
And
is,
about
but
us.
we want to tell.
Sure. And another thing, the link, one of the links on our webpage, it goes to the Prairie Public TV. They had a story on the Red Trail, and there's information on there too about the Red Trail. It's very interesting.
That's another tip too, I guess, with the website, especially for us, is, and I learned this at one of our grape grower conferences. Make sure you have the address right on your homepage. Just have the address right there, because people on a smartphone, they can tap it and it'll go take them right to Google Maps, so they can find you. And we've had people stop in here just because of that,
Okay.
because they could easily find us. So.
What's been your greatest success story in terms of marketing? What is just, and I guess you haven't talked about the grape stomp. Maybe you want to talk about the grape stomp, then we'll come back to this other question.
Well, I've been involved all my life here in the little community here of Buffalo, and there's always some activities going on, and you're always put on committees because this town isn't that big, and if you have any interest at all, you're always on a committee. And when we had this, when we started the Red Trail Vineyard in 2005, I thought, well, it'd really be neat to have a festival. There's lots of different festivals, and I thought for North Dakota to have the Grape Harvest Festival and a grape stomp, which is kind of neat and fun to do. So on my winter trip to Oregon in 2006, I put this festival together. And because working on different committees in the Buffalo area, I kind of had a sense of what I had to do and what I had the people that I had to call to get the tents, the porta potties, the music, everything, the chairs, the tables. Where do you call? How do you get all this stuff here? And so I had all that, and fortunate, we have a lot of friends to pitch in and help. And the day of the event, it takes about 30 people just to run it, just to be on site to do all the work there is. And they're all volunteers.
Now, I don't know of any other vineyards in the state that do anything like this. Am I correct?
That's right.
Just go ahead.
I'm ready to roll them.
Okay, so your greatest success story, and then what has been your most successful marketing?
One of my surprising most success stories has been this here little bottle. This little bottle is our winter wine, we call it, and it's our ice wine. And I've heard of ice wine, and in 2010 we harvested some grapes that we had out here. We left them over the winter. We actually picked them on the 20th of December, and we made that into our first batch of ice wine. Little did I know how good it was. And we only made 60 bottles that first year, and we sold them for $45 a bottle. Nobody batted an eye at it. I couldn't believe it that people would pay that much for this ice wine, but it is really, really good. And I was very happy with it. This past year in the winter of 2011-2012, we didn't have any ice wine. One reason is it was such a nice winter. And so this is one year we're gonna miss out on our ice wine, but for 2 years we did this winter wine, we called it. This year we plan on expanding to our ice wine rows We're going to do some whites and some reds both, and make an ice variety.
Okay.
Um,
Your greatest marketing success, or and you mentioned it before, but
Well, I'm such a people person, and the shaking of the hands and the getting out there, and whether it's the lady at the grocery store or whatever, everybody gets a card in their hand, I tell you. And a lot of people are still surprised. We started this business in 2003, and this is 2012, and they never heard of it. And we're only 30 miles out of Fargo. They never heard of there's a vineyard. They never heard of it yet. And it really surprises me sometimes, but the word of mouth, if you have a good product, and can put on a good show or show people something new like this, the word of mouth can really spread and be a plus.
Mike, from your perspective.
I would say one thing that I always love hearing is when people stop out here and do a tasting, I always ask them, how they found out about us. And the one that I always like is when they're on their smartphone and they either Googled for vineyards, wineries, whatever, and then they found us and they stopped on in. And I love that. And that's another tip also I forgot to tell you is make sure that your website is mobile ready. Because you can still view a website on mobile, like a BlackBerry like that, you can still look at it, but if it's mobile ready, it's so much easier and cleaner to look at. And then just a great way for people to find you, and I know we were just out in Milwaukee and visited a bunch of breweries, winery, distillery, and most of that was found on a smartphone. We made our plans doing it that way.
On the fly.
Yep, on the fly. Yep.
What has disappointed you in terms of marketing efforts that you tried and it just didn't work out the way you thought it should or would?
One for me, online-wise, would be Facebook. Just trying to get enough Facebook followers, we all get, on Facebook you get beat up all the time, everyone trying to like you, that type of thing. But
Okay.
I guess for me it would be Facebook. And Facebook's a great tool, but just getting enough people to like our page that's out there, our fan page. And so that's one thing that I guess I've struggled with. I'm happy with all of our online marketing, and it's an ongoing daily thing that we do. But that's one thing, is to push as many people to Facebook as possible.
Rod?
When it comes to marketing, I think the biggest disappointment I have is the newspaper, ads in newspapers. I don't think they give us the bang for the buck.
Okay.
Newspapers are a thing that we had years ago, but now it's so much on the web, on your computers, what you find there. So that's probably my biggest disappointment.
You raise a good question. Bang for the buck. How do you measure return on investment, or do you measure it?
It's only through when we ask people, how did they hear about it? Especially when people come to our festival, that was one of the questions. How did you hear about us?
Okay. I see you have a guest book over here. I'm assuming that's a guest book.
Yeah.
Do you ask them in there, how'd you hear of us?
No, we don't. We probably should. We just want to get their name, and it's so interesting how many people look in there that stop here and they say, oh, so-and-so were here, or, gosh, you had people from Japan here? Yeah, we did.
That is one thing, though, that I developed was a little card so that people can subscribe to us, email-wise if they want to. We don't force them to, but that way we can track exactly where they're from and create that customer database so we can invite them every year to our grape stomp or invite them back out here.
Okay. If you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently? Or
What would I do differently? I would go into this, I would start this whole corporation by myself and only have myself involved and have no partners except my close family.
Okay. Mike, you wanna?
I guess the marketing side of it, just more money for marketing and cost-effective marketing. And one thing too is, from day one, building your customer database. We've had that book over there that you talked about, our guest book, but being able to create that customer database from day one. We've done that with our grape festival, where we have a good set, probably 1,000 people on that list now. But
Okay. What changes do you have planned for the future, both in the business and in the marketing?
We certainly hope in the future to build a winery out here. This year we are starting a Friday night special where we're going to start serving food on Friday nights and have a special of the week. My mother always says, you eat what we eat when we had guests, and we're sort of the same thing. You eat what everybody eats the same. There's not a menu. This is what we're serving tonight, and it's so far it's been pretty good. We get a lot of groups here, whether it's anniversary parties, birthday parties, or reunions. We got a couple class reunions this year, and also groom suppers we have, and that's what we do. We all eat the same food, and it's so much easier for us guys in the kitchen to prepare a meal like that. So that'll be something new this year.
Mike, anything?
one change that we did from the past was making our website mobile ready, so people could see it from their smartphone a lot easier, which is important. Everyone should have that. And just keeping customers more updated, online. When we first had our website, it was there, people could see what we were about, but now we blog, we have our Facebook and all that, so people want information,
Do you do any bus tours? Do you have buses who come by and?
We've had some. We tried to pursue that more, but we've done mystery tours. We've had some of them stop in here. We've had some other Farmers Union. We've had Red Hat ladies stop in here. We'd like to get more bus tours. I mean, we're 2 miles off the interstate, and there's many buses that travel across by here every day during the summer, and certainly we'd love to get more of them here.
Okay. Just a last question, I guess, is maybe we've already covered it, but if I asked you to give me 2-3 tips that you would share with other business owners regarding starting or expanding their online presence or their marketing in general, what might they be?
Well, one thing I'll give is online wise, when you're giving information to your customers or future customers, is not to beat them over the head all the time with offers and buy this, buy that, sale here, but to drip them good quality content as well, to mix that in. I see that on Facebook a lot, because I'll subscribe to a lot of people, a lot of businesses, and they beat you over the head to get you to come on in and buy from them. But you also want to feed them some good quality content information, so they'll continue to follow you. That's one thing. Also, and I brought this up too, is when you're planning your business, make sure that you have the domain name and the Facebook and the Twitter and all those handles, so someone else already doesn't have them, obviously. And then also just staying ahead of the pack when it comes to technology and marketing information online, because it's always changing. It's always growing. Those are, I guess, the 3 tips that I could think of.
Rod?
I have no tips.
You have one. Network.
That's right.
Meet and greet.
Yeah. Meet and greet. Lots of constant every day.
Okay.
Another thing too, I guess I just thought of this is an app for your, you have a mobile website, but you can also, this is huge now, is an application for cell phones. This is something that hopefully the grape growers will do. But an application so that when someone's on their smartphone, they can punch this app in and it'll give them maps and whatever for all the wineries and vineyards in North Dakota. so someone can have that app and they can find them all right on their phone, which would
Okay.
be good. So